Hi everyone. Um, Been a long time. I don't think I've done one of these for. Hang on, let me just kill that volume now. We know the. Hang on, hang on. Let's mute that one, shall we? Otherwise, we're going to get an echo. Yeah, I don't think I've done one of these for about 3 weeks, maybe getting on for a month. So I'm due. And obviously I've been to China and then we came back and the whole story. But so first of all, let me just start by saying something. As you probably know, my cases have been distributed by a company. Well, you all know the Brexit story, okay? United Kingdom, in their ultimate wisdom, decided to shoot himself in the foot, then the face, and vote for Brexit and break ourselves apart from our best trading partner. Genius. So, as some of you may be aware, this caused me a massive problem. My sales to Europe just fell through the floor. And Andreas from Amiga Future introduced me to Michael Mrozek, who runs this company called Dragonbox.de in Germany. And he's been absolutely fantastic. He's solved my Brexit problem by buying my products, my cases, and he sold loads of them, and he's supporting the product. And he's just been I can't stress how good he's been. I know it might sound a little bit, but seriously, I don't probably say it enough, but he's been a massive help. Anyway, so we come to the monitors, and I've been saying to him, no, you can't have any, because he's wanted to get on with the monitors for quite a long time. But of course, it's a Kickstarter. I have to make sure my Kickstarter backers get theirs. And so once we'd shipped all of the monitors to my backers and some pre-orders, obviously later on once we shipped the backers. Now there are still a few people who haven't paid their balance. Every now and then I get a message, what am I supposed to pay? That kind of thing. But yeah, so I didn't want to send them to Michael. I was only handling direct pre-orders. But we got to the point where we shipped all the pre-orders, all the backers have got theirs. And then I said to Michael, right, do you want to put together your some awesome people? And he came back with there's about 8. We literally today shipped about 75 monitors out there. I think they're already sold. They're going to be there. Are they saying June the 6th? And then once he gets them, unpacks them, gets them all ready, and then ships them out to the customers, they should have them fairly soon. So hopefully sometime the following week, I'll have to contact him. Now, I know some people, when you go into a distributor or a dealer, people are probably not quite so patient. I've found that people with direct to me are insanely patient. Well, maybe I shouldn't use the word insane, but really patient. Which is a good thing, because this is a complicated thing to do, and so they're probably less patient with Michael and other dealers like that. Now, to be clear, Michael has not held up anything. If you are on that cusp of being a little bit, wondering why it's taking so long, it's me that's held everything up. Okay. We're now at the point where finally got to the point where we've broken even on everything, and so we're in the black at last, and so we can relax just a little bit. But of course, it meant then I can get Michael's order in. It's come in. It took a little while to pack it. It's taken about probably a week to 10 days to actually. It takes a while to build, test, and assemble these. And then it's the first time I've done a pallet shipment. So there was a few days delay getting that sorted out. So it's on me. So if you feel anything in your minds about Michael, it's nothing to do with Michael. It's all about me. But I will say I really appreciate you ordering. and I really appreciate you backing the project. And I'm glad, you know, I'd like people to come to me, but obviously Michael it's really good having Michael out there because he's on the ground, he's closer to you, and it's a lot easier. So thanks to the lot of you. One little bit of advice, we do get an awful lot of people, I can't find the power supply. So when you, as I said to someone today, it's inside the lower white polystyrene underneath where it says power supply here, or PSU here. Surprised the amount of people that miss that. I understand, fair enough, you know, you're taking it all apart, where's the box? But it's in the side of the box, and it is all in there. There's all of the ones that have gone out to Michael have the latest firmware. Anyone who hasn't got the latest firmware can, as I said before, can either go onto Discord or email me and I'll send them the firmware. I'm going to be putting a page up on my website with the files so people can get to them. But you know, just email me and we just send them out to you. And the new firmware really is a great thing for the scale. It's all about the scaler, to be fair. How it improves the sharpness of everything. But it's no relation to the wiggle gate, which I want to call it wave gate because it's quite subtle. In fact, let's just pop this up. I know it's actually a very small picture, but it's not that noticeable. But we have got a fix. Let me go back to. I'll come to that in a minute. Where's my notes? My notes have disappeared. So yeah, thanks to anyone who's ordered through Dragonbox. Get the monitors out there. Once you've got them up and running, please join the Discord. I don't want to share them publicly like this, so Michael does have the link. So if you do want to go on the Discord, he can email either with this video, which he's sending out. I'm quite happy for him to do that. But I'm only keeping the Discord for customers because, for obvious reasons, it's a really nice, happy place, and everyone's helping each other, and it's been absolutely wonderful. So that Discord's really useful. So yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks for your patience. You're bound to have the odd little problem or something you don't understand. Can I suggest you read the manual? Have a read of it. It goes quite in depth, especially the beginning bits. It'll probably answer most of your questions. The biggest one usually is, why does it only say in source HDMI 1 and HDMI 6? Well, that's because HDMI 1 is the slot 0 board has two HDMIs, HDMI 1, HDMI 2. We've added the electronics for a switcher that's connected to HDMI 2, so whatever is active on HDMI 2 is the HDMI that comes up in the source. It doesn't show all 6 HDMIs. That's the way it's designed. That's it. But it does cause some people some confusion. The other thing is, when you're looking around, VGA has lots of channels. Read the section, but you control the VGA with the VGA button on here, and you control the HDMIs. Don't use the source. Use this for HDMI and VGA. Use the remote control. It makes life a lot easier. Right, let's get back to normal things. So thanks again for ordering. Keep in touch. Again, support will come through myself and Michael. Michael probably will try and take some of the support, but you can get in touch with me anytime. As some people say, I do answer most of the time. And I am very quick on replying. So if you haven't heard from me within a couple of days, that doesn't mean I'm ignoring you. That means that somehow it hasn't got to me, because I normally answer within 24 hours. Right, Kickstart. So, as I said, all the backers that have paid their balances and completed their pledge, have all got their monitors. They've all got them. Now, as I said, there's some people think they've already paid. They obviously didn't read the box with the pledge, which said this does not include bits. And that's the bit that you need to address. There is plenty of information. Happy to send it out to you again. Go on the Kickstarter page. There is a section right at the very first, right pinned to the top, updates. Have a look at that. Explains it all. But yeah, so there's a few people out there. And it also warns you if I stop making them, you've lost it. You know, I can't do any more. You got to pay your balances, and then you get these monitors. Wigglegate, yeah. So Wigglegate, yeah. It's that's not it. Yes, that is. So it only affects, annoyingly, pretty much only affects Amiga users. As you can see, if you look at this picture, it's very hard to see because it's not full. I've got a better view in. No, that's not it. In vertical line, it has a slight wave. And if you're playing games demos, you'll never notice it. If you're doing like desktop applications, you are going to notice it. And it is, you know, it's there. What can I say? In all the testing we did, we didn't see it. But, you know, it's there. Now, have we fixed it? Yes. There's a new... Well, we actually had, to be fair. One of the things we're doing is the chip, the TrueView chip on the scaler board was the end of line of that particular chip. It's called an 8575 or is it 857? Anyway, that's now a new version, and the only difference is it's smaller. It's the same functionality. It doesn't change the functionality. It's a smaller chip. But they've rolled into that new version, which has got a different part number. So we already had the second version design, but of course, with the problem with the Wave, Appy's found out what it is. I'm not going to try explaining it. It's to do with 3.3 volts. Okay, there was an issue with the 3.3 volts being supplied to the chip. And it's caused a bit of a... It's called a wave. It caused a wave. So that's now been fixed. The new board designs I think go off tonight or tomorrow. Then they're going to make up a few samples. They'll send a couple back to us, and we'll double check them to make sure it fixes it. Once that's done, then we'll have some boards made. But Appy's then going to work on... hopefully, a small patch board that you just fix onto where the GBS goes. Where the GBS control goes on, there is a big connector. Put it on there, plug it into there, so like a piggyback board, to correct the issue we got with the 3.3 volts. I would say it's regulators, but Happy will be screaming at me I've got it all wrong. But it's something to do with 3.3 volts. So that's once we've got those boards back and they're working, then he can design that little board. Now the idea is this, that going forward we'll have the new board. Now we had to have new boards anyway because of the new chip. As I said, it doesn't change the functionality. It just, and if one says, make it cheaper, about 5 cents. But of course we need a new board, and so that's coming. Then once we got that, then Appy is going to do the new board. Now we did. You're not getting this. Anyone who watches this, don't even. But basically, this one basically fixes it. It's got the bits that it needs, but you know, we're going to wait for. It was just ignore. I'll show you this for fun. Yeah, that's fixed it. So. Appy was learning exactly what the issue was, testing and so on. So that's sitting there. I hardly notice it, so I haven't bothered putting it in the machine. Once those boards come back, I'll do a video and we'll compare the two. And then my plan is, going forward, is that we'll have a patch board that should be... But the board, the little patch board, theoretically should be free. Okay, you'll have to pay shipping. Okay, we can't ship it around the world, but we will do shipping. I might do like it's somewhat Aaron in Australia. You are a legend. You can imagine what it costs to ship to Australia. I've got a lot of these monitors in Australia. And he let me send because if you don't know about the little remote controls for the S-Video, I'd sent out a whole load of these boards, about 95 S-Video boards around the world, feeling really pleased with myself, got them all out, forgot to put the remote control in. Cost me $1,000 in shipping, £1,000 in shipping, because I forgot that. So anyway, there was about 3 or 4. There was a few going out to Australia, and it was so expensive to send. It was like £30 to send that to each one. So I asked what I got. I had there's about half a dozen sent to him. One of the guys, Aaron, said I could send them all to him, and he would distribute it. And I'm eternally grateful to him. I sent him a couple of spares, which is good, because I stupidly sent another S-Video. Because when you're doing little, like, off-the-cuff shipments, sometimes forget to put these in. And God, I told you I'm getting old. So yeah, now what that means basically is I might ask him, if he's watching this, he might say you're having a laugh, but I might ask him if we can do the same thing but with these boards, so people can get in touch through a group, and then I can ship a bunch to him, and he can ship them cheaper, internally, and then probably do the same in America. UK and Europe's not really a big deal, because it'll only be a small package. So that's for that. Now that's the one option where the board, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but it's not going to cost that much. As long as it works okay, we'll do that, and I'm happy to make that little board, right, a little patch board. However, there is the other option of so anyone who's bought the complete, the packs and everything like that, to be able to buy a new scaler board at a really low price, just pretty much below manufacturing cost, and then shipping cost. As I said, it's not. I think we've had 50. I know on the Discord there's a number of people there. Which once we got the boards, I'll be getting in touch with them. But as I said, most people don't notice it. Everyone's entitled to upgrade. Now, the important thing to understand is going forward, I'm actually raising the price of the scaler. The scaler is going to go up in price because it's severely underpriced. For what you're getting, it really is underpriced. So that's going to go up in price in the near future. So it is what it is. I need to put the price up on that. But yeah, so whatever happens, we'll have this sorted soon. Now, one of the downsides is I asked LGR very kindly, LGR and Modern Video Gamer, the two channels, very kindly, they didn't say, "Can you send us a monitor?" They actually bought one. They backed it on the Kickstarter, which is really nice. But I've asked them to hold the review because I did want to fix this problem with it. I know they're going to talk about it, obviously, right? So I've got no issue with that. But I wanted to fix it, give them the fixed board. They understand how we're upgrading people that want to be upgraded, because a lot of people, as I said, not many people really notice it, but it affects my community probably more than most, but I want to get that to them, and then they've got the facts, and then they can say what they like about it, but at least I've done as best I can to because I want these products to sell, and I want it to go in, I trust them to be completely honest, obviously. And but I just wanted to let them see it in its best light before they run the review. So I'm not in a rush. It's more important to me to get things spot on. Right, I will come to questions in a minute. What is the time? God, Jesus, I half talk, don't I? Anyway, right. So yeah, lots of. I'm seeing lots of pictures from people. Let's take that off of there and get fed up looking at that now. Let's go. Let's put it on to here. There you go. You can watch my little boy's favourite game. Yeah, so I've been seeing the monitors. People have been sending pictures of customers taking their monitors to shows all around the world, and it's fantastic that so obviously people can see them and see what they're like, and they can make their own decisions on them. And I've had nothing but positive comments, which has been absolutely wonderful. As I said, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I don't think I'm false. I think what you see is what you get. So of course, people. I have no problem with people obviously criticising, and it's fair criticism. I've got no problem with that because it just makes us want to improve. Sometimes you get people that criticise that actually misunderstood what you meant to do, and they press that button. But they usually come to me, and we resolve that. And most of this happens in Discord. So if you join the Discord, you can see exactly what's going on, and you can read everything and see how it's flowed. But it's really nice when people come back and I get the nice stories. I actually get more nice stories than I do bad ones, to be fair. Because I do think that when people are dealing with the company that manufacture, I think they're more patient, especially with Kickstarters. I think this kind of thing, people are a lot more patient, which is really important, because you don't want to rush these things. I'd rather just so drop this in here. So before we finish the Kickstarter, before it finished, there's a 15-20 people wanted refunds. I told them they could wait. I said, oh yes, I'll do refunds. Now, as it turns out now, because as I said, we're now actually in the black. Thank you to you lot in Europe and going to Michael. We've now just tipped over into the black, which is fantastic. So I'm going to be doing those refunds in the next few days, a week or two, get them sorted out. But I was in no rush. I'm not rushing that because that would take money from shipping people's products. So, the people who backed got it first, people who stayed with us. But as I said, I'll honour it. Now, as I said on the Kickstarter, there's no more refunds. It's just not happening. Because, that door closed about a year and a bit ago. But as I said, I would honour it, and I am going to. I can actually do something about it now. But everyone else who hasn't paid, please pay. That would be useful because then I can ship the monitor out to you. I've got about 210 in stock, which is not many. I do plan on doing. I'm going to modify I'm going to modify the product pages for sale to be more representative of what people want, and it might look like I'm discounting, but technically I'm not. If you really look into it, I'm not really. But I'm going to bring back the base pack, and because some people just want the monitor, and you can then add because a lot of people like to add a Mister or a Pi. And that's all they want, and that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to bring that back, and the little dongle for the HDMI, that's going to be a separate little item. Okay, so that's going to come out so to save people having to buy it. So it might look like it's a bit cheaper, but it's not necessarily. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing that soon. Probably some deals on bags. I know people have said to me about deals on monitors. I don't do deals. I'll do the prices and so on, but the bags, I've got so many of the bags. I mean, it might not be an issue going forward because I could sell them, but I've still got like 150, 200 bags. But that's that's all going to start. You'll start seeing that on the website soon. A bit more promotional stuff from me. Because my time is now freeing up. I'm going to have a few days out on the bike. I've got a few bike trips sorted out. Some gnarly stuff in Wales in the mountains. But I'm I will be buying a bag or two. Cash flow. Well, George, if you get in touch, you can have a bag for like 20 quid. So unless you're if you're in the UK, they're peanuts. So I'm just trying to get rid of them. I'll probably order more, but just get in touch because yes, they're £50. But as I said, if you're a customer or if you're a Patreon, just get in touch and we'll do a big discount on them because I just want to move them out the door. And they are good. I mean, they really are good. Right. So last thing, went to Retcon on Saturday, and that was good. That was good fun. I didn't have a stand, but I took a monitor, put it on Dave Pleasance's stand, put a new poster that Paul created. Basically I just spent time talking to me mates, lots of customers coming up and lots of those wanted to buy a monitor coming up, and we had a good time and then went out in the evening for a meal, so that was nice. Got to see my mate Fassy. We become, well, hopefully he agrees with this, we've become quite good friends. At all the shows we meet up, and so we're going to do our usual thing in Germany. Someone asked me the other day about have I got any plans? Yes. Would I tell them about it? No. But I'm cooking. But you know, it's my time, as I said, is freeing up a little bit now, and I was planning to make a big splash in Germany because it's the 40th, but I didn't in the end. I haven't got time to organise it. A big stand is just too much. So I'll just have little two tables, have some monitors there. I'll be shaking hands. I'm the gold sponsor, so I get to do a talk, and you don't want to miss that. Anyone who remembers my talk in Sweden in 1994, I think it was, shades of that. But yeah, everything's going well, even to the point of actually some people have asked me if I've got any spare remote controls. I have actually got a couple of hundred of spares, so if there's any issues, I've got spares. Now, I might do them as for sale if people maybe want to buy. If it's a case of people want to order some spare parts. I know some people said about spare power supplies, which is a good idea. I've got about 60 power supplies, so I'm going to make more, obviously, but I've only got about, I think, 50 or 60, but I've got 250 remote controls, so I may put them up on the store, but I need to keep a load, for in case anyone breaks theirs. No, I'm, everything's gone. I'm not going to say to plan. I don't know if I mentioned this one. Well, I did actually about Kickstarter, but what I don't think I said was that I'm going to be on the Kickstarter page less and less. It's like my other Kickstarters. I'll pop in there and I'll have a look. So if you post me a message, right, because it goes to my Google account and I don't see them. I do try and check in at least once or twice a week. But if you do want to contact me, my email address, is on the website. So contact me on the website. Contact me by email anytime, and I answer them all. As I said, if I don't answer within a couple of days, you know that either I probably didn't get it, or it got hit. Sometimes it gets hit, very rarely, but sometimes it gets caught by my filter. But not normally. I had one the other day, but if I haven't responded, message me another way, like on Discord or Facebook or however. But usually the email is the best way to contact me. So it just means I'm going to be a bit less frequently on Kickstarter, because as far as I'm concerned, that's been delivered. Anyone who hasn't got theirs, you need to just complete your order. All the details are on there, and then we'll get them out to you. Right, should we have a look at questions? since I've waffled on for half an hour, well, you know it was half an hour because it's only half hour and it turns the camera off. Hello, 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 hello. We can hear you. Good. Hi. Congratulations. Thanks. That remote looked heavy. What is the status of a US distributor? Oh, okay, yeah, that's a good question. So I did have someone in mind, but I'm not sure because I don't want to go into details. But at the moment, it's better for me to ship it because if I've still got to ship them to America, it's still going to cost the same. I don't think it's going to save anything. The tariffs, you idiots. The tariffs. I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't affect me. It only affects consumers in America, which is really annoying because nearly half of my monitors go to America. You guys are awesome, right? You know, you're buying these products, and I really appreciate it, but I can't control the tariffs. I can't do anything about it. I don't even know. I have no idea what the deal is. 1 minute it's this, another minute it's that. Technically, there is no tariff, right? Because products from the UK fall under $800. If it's under $800, because it's an individual item, as long as you only order one monitor, if you order one monitor at a time, if you want more, you don't get hit by a tariff. If you order two, it will just tip over and you're probably going to end up maybe import duty or tariff. No one's ever come back to me saying I've been hit by tariffs, but you should in theory be under that. But then there was discussion about removing that, but then I heard it was for another country, so I have literally no idea. But no one so far has ever said to me, in about 600 monitors have gone to America, and a lot of them since the tariff. No one has come back to me and said we've had to pay this massive tariff. No one. All right, so theoretically there shouldn't be a tariff. If you order one monitor, should not be an issue. But yeah, so at the moment I'm going to continue shipping singly. What I might do is the company that I was dealing with, maybe send them the little extras, because for example, like I said, if I send that, it cost me, when I was sending these a lot, remember the story about these, each one cost me £22 to send to America, which I had to swallow. And so for little things like that, it gets expensive. Shipping's the killer. So make sure when you order if you're going to order a monitor, make sure you order exactly what you want. If you're not sure what you want, contact me and then we'll talk about it, right? Yeah, just contact me about that, and then make life a lot easier. Right. Hello, Paul. Paul's here. Everyone's talking amongst yourselves. Can you share any news on the slot in Amiga 3K for the monitor? Taj asks this every single time. I think I explained this. The problem we had was reliability is not the right word, because once it was working, it was fine. We had a problem that it wouldn't always boot up, and I believe it's the firmware. I know it sounds like blaming someone else, but I do think it's actually something in the firmware, something in time. Something's not quite right that we can't figure out, and the guys, obviously, the guys who designed this, not answering emails because we're taking their design and reusing it. Why the hell are we hassling them? I get it, yeah. But so it's not stable enough for me to sell as a product. It works great. You boot it and it's fine, but then you'll turn it on the next day and it won't. Or because I'm taking things in and out, you'll plug it in and it doesn't want to boot. You can tell it is because if you press the F12 key, the menu comes up. It always does that. But it won't boot the Amiga. So it's obviously got to be some kind of firmware issue that it's always boots to the point where the mist, is it mist? I think so. God, I forgot what the actual thing's called. But where it'll always boot up to the menu, so you can press F12 and open up the control menu, right? And you can go through and set, but it just won't boot from the damn drive. and I don't know why, and it's intermittent, so I can't sell something like that. But as I said, when it's working, it's fantastic. It really is. It really is good, but it's temperamental, which I don't like. That's the delay. There is no other delay. The product's fine. Yeah, so that's that. Freaky leak. Received my display bag and extras. Not powered up yet. Yeah, fair enough. Don't forget the power supply. Don't email me. I do reply very quick. Where it says PSU here, it's underneath. Okay. Replacement screen arrived safe to Australia. Got it installed last weekend. Very good point. So I've replaced all the broken screens. Were replaced. Okay. There's only about 4 actually. I think broken ones. However, I've got about 12 ones. You know, the dead pixels. I've had one person thinks I've forgotten. I haven't forgotten. I've got a pile, of them. I'll probably do them next week. As I said, I've got 12 to ship, so I just need to run through 10 monitors, just test every single panel. I have a separate rig, test them, and you're gonna like the packaging. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but it will make up for the delay. And remember, it was a dead pixel. When you're using it, you hardly notice it. But as I've always said, there's no dead pixels, right? No dead pixels. So they will be getting theirs. Obviously, most of them are in the US or Australia. Sod's law, right? But since we started getting these in, I added that test. I haven't had any people come back since. So me running the test to test with their pixels seems to have stopped that, which is great news. Replacement screen. Are there any plans to add the ability to control image smoothing settings via slots? I've tried it with PC and non-native resolution. I'm not quite sure what you mean here, Spongle fan. I don't quite know what you mean. You're saying about. I've tried with PC and with non-native resolution 644. The image is too black. Well, look, to be honest, it's on chip smoothing. Okay, this is like a multimedia, not multimedia, it's the wrong word, but it's more of a TV monitor kind of tuner, so it does tend to smooth things. Okay, this is why you want to go in through the scaler. And the scaler controls the smoothing. It does a much better job. Now, I don't know how you're connecting, but especially with the new firmware, it pings 1280, 1024 and 50 hertz, which we was having a real problem before. But it pings that now, and it looks great. And it uses GBS to scale it, and it's a lot sharper. And then you can fine tune it within GBS control. Now that's if you're going for the RGB SCART, the RGBI, I think also the component. I'm not 100% sure on the component. That might be a direct feed. But you need to be going through there, and you've got a bit more control. If you're talking about plugging into the external VGA or the composite, no, it's just the chip. The chip, here's an image, scale it, yeah. That's the way it is. Now again, the Arcuda. I suppose I really should mention the Arcuda at the end of this. The Arcuda's different scaling, so that'll be slightly that's more sympathetic to the retro side. But you need to go through the RGB SCART to get the best, because you're doing it through the GBS control. Everyone agrees that's a better way of doing it. Probably doesn't answer. If you want to show me some samples and explain what you mean, how you're connecting. Happy to do it by email or right. For the balance of the good bad stories, probably helps that care that you put into the product so that we get them. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, most people love the product. You should. I shouldn't be saying that, but most people do. Yes, there's been a couple of issues along the way. The light bleed. The wave, the odd loose screw inside when people get it. Why is it rattling? I check them all now. I know that doesn't happen. It's quite rare now, but it does happen. On when we make them again, they're gonna be, you've got to tighten all this, because I know the ones really hard to get to. So we've had those, but it's a new product. Can't wait to get the way fixed so I can use Workbench. Yeah, sorry. As I said, it is getting fixed. It's just frustrating. I'm sure you understand. I'm known as an Amiga developer. How the Dragon Box shop buyers will get the patch board. Oh, don't worry about that. They'll be fine, because I'll just send a whole bunch to Michael. So all the people who are getting a standard board, I've still got lots of standard boards, so I'm keen to sell them. You're probably going to see one of the things when I said about changing. There's going to be a pack with a scaler in this video, a kind of tighter price, and that no one will read it, but I'll put a message in there. Yes, there is this thing. Right, but there'll be a fix for it. But as I said, 95% of people don't even know what I'm talking about. They've got them and they're using them, have no problems at all, because most of them are using it for games, or using it for demos, that kind of thing. You don't notice it on like on all platforms. You only notice it. Like Workbench is a good example because it's high resolution, and you've got straight lines, and because only if you've got straight lines you really notice it. So it is annoying, but we will fix it. And Michael's customers will all get the same patches as everyone else. In fact, it's going to be easy for them, because I can send a whole load to Michael and then he can distribute them. But I will come back to, once we've got the working board and then we've got the patch board and we know exactly what we're doing, I'll come back to everyone and there'll be the fix. As I said, I want to put it into perspective, right? Yes, it's there. Right, yes, it is there, but it's not life or death. So I have to be careful what I say, because of course I'm not happy. I'm not happy at all. It's really, really disappointing. But the crucial part of this is this: it's my fault, not Appy's, no one else's. It's my fault, because I signed it off, and I paid and ordered them, and I hadn't noticed it because I tend to test it in different resolutions, and we hadn't thought to try. It didn't even cross my mind. And even when people were saying about it, and I was putting it on, and I had to switch it to different modes. And so yeah, it's me. It's on me, right? Hence, I'm the one who's fixing it. Well, I'm not the one who's fixing it. I'm the one who was paying to have it fixed. Will my Apple IIe fit in it? Oh, in the bag? God, yes. 2E? That's not small, is it? I mean, look, the monitor, the size of the monitor is 43 centimeters and about 15 back. If it's that size, I would think so. I'm trying to figure out what a 2E is. Excuse my ignorance, please. That Workbench. Boy, let's get that off. It does my head in. Keep looking at that. Oh, no, hang on. Let's put it back on here because it's more fun. The Workbench wobble. Which resolution connector produces it? I've noticed no wiggle on PyStorm. No, see, it's only right. Here's the thing. Most Amigans really are using or using HDMI, or they're going through that way through PyStorm or whatever. It's not affected. Through HDMI, it's not affected. It's only if you go into the scaler through the SCART. So it's only things that have gone into the SCART or the I'm not sure if the RGBI is affected that much. But anything goes in SCART, it's got vertical lines, really straight single vertical lines that you notice it. So you won't see it unless you're doing that. But it's there. It is there. Right. Yeah, thank you for tackling the wiggle finally. Oh well, it's taken quite a while, and this process takes a while. Yeah, he's answering that, Scott. You haven't checked yet, but RGB SCART would be the common way to connect stock Amiga. Yes, composite and RF are not as good, but well, actually, to be fair, composite looks really good. It's not as good as RGB, but I tell you what, I would have killed for it back in the day because it flicker fixes. You can run interlace and it's usable, and of course you don't get the there's no wave. It's not as sharp as RGB. But it does look good. I know people might disagree with that, but trust me, if I'd had it back in the day, I would have loved it. Isn't it cheaper with the computer hardware exemption to send to the US directly from China, assuming how... It can't. Well, look, as it stands at the moment, because the monitors come here, I kind of disassemble them, do some little bits to it, reassemble and pack, and accordingly, they had to come here, yeah, and then go. We can't just ship to China. From China to the US because don't have a distributor. Now, going forward, all things I don't know yet. We've got to see. But the answer is no. Do you think you might make a monitor that is modern 1610 for prime? No, I don't want to. This is bloody expensive. I mean, it costs so much money. And I don't think people will want I don't think people will want a 16:9 widescreen. I know you said 16:10. I don't think people will want a widescreen like this. Now, you know, if I sell tens of thousands of these, and oh yeah, let's have a go. But not at the moment. How easy is it to apply the firmware update? Really easy. Undo the zip, get a file, put it on there, plug it in, turn it on, wait till the logo comes up, take that out, delete the file, done. Really simple. Has to be FAT32. There is an instruction guide, okay? I didn't do a video, but I mean I could. It's really simple. Just don't turn the power off. The one thing it does say, warning in red, and don't turn the power on, start it, turn the power off. You'll brick it. You'll brick the board. Now, yes, I can reprogram the slot 0 board, right? I've got the tools, I've got the software. I can reprogram it. But you've got to get it to me, because I'm not paying the shipping. You're going to have to ship it to me and ship it back. That's the thing. But it is really simple to do. It's really, really simple to do. If you're nervous about it, just run it in 1280 by 720 on SCART, and to be honest, you'll be fine. Stop asking about the keyboard. I am going to talk to the guys in Germany who've made a keyboard for the 1200. I think it might fit the 500. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to go out there and going to have a chat with them because I'm quite happy to make an external keyboard case. But if someone's already made the keyboard that suits the need, I don't mind investing in the plastic case to make a really nice, with a nice cable. I don't mind making a really nice keyboard for it, in the old style. I seem to recall it was recommended to have a backup ESP board or something to that effect. No, that's not... no, okay, must be clear. The firmware is not touching the scaler. This is the slot 0 firmware. This is the main panel controller firmware. That's the only thing that's being updated at the moment. Now, if you want to... Now, I don't recommend you do this unless you want to. But if you do want to update the GBS control firmware, you can. But what was being said was this, and it was very wise. Buy yourself a new one of those, the little... ESP, they cost about $5, right? Buy one of them, program it with the very latest version if you can figure out how to do it, because I'm not explaining it because it's quite complex. Program that, and then you can take your board out and put the new one in, and if it's all okay, fantastic. If it's not, you can put the old one back. Don't flash the existing one. Don't, because if you get it wrong, screwed. Yeah, well, you're not screwed. You just have to pay me to send you one. Yeah, it'll just be a pain in the butt. But yeah, buy another one. It costs peanuts. Just program it. That's what that was all about. Mini-Mig, that was it. Has been ported to both Mist and Mister. Yep, that was a different update. Roger that. I messaged on Discord about my dead pixel this week. Drop a message before shipping anything, and I'll add. Raduga. No. I'm not going to say why, right? No. Just let me ship it to you, okay? Just let me ship it to you. Just saying, hi, we'll have to catch up on the stream later. My father fell this morning. Oh, mate, I'm really sorry about that. Mate, that's cool. Mate, Starius has been fantastic. I mean, you know, he set the Discord up. He got it going. Man, I couldn't have done that myself. You guys have been on Discord. Amazing. I have some computers I'm displaying at a local computer event with the intention to visit other shows. The bags would come in handy. Yeah. As I said, email me, right? If you want to buy them, you can order them. I'll give you a big discount because I just want to get rid of them. But be aware, if you're in the UK, shipping's about a tenner per bag. No, you could probably do two bags for the tenner. If you're in Europe, it goes up doubles, and if you're in America or Australia, if you're in Australia, Jesus, don't. Right, it's about 70 quid to ship to Australia. Don't. Just don't do it. Is there a way to run audio in, then back out, so when you volume down via remote, only the built-in speakers fade? I'm quite sure what you mean, but when you volume up and down, it volumes everything up and down. There's no way of changing that, I don't think. I notice the internal USB ports do not give enough power for the Raspberry Pi 5. They give plenty of power, but what you have to understand, they give plenty of power. What they're not is they're not a PD power supply. So because it's not got the electronic circuitry for a PD power supply, the Raspberry Pi says you can only have 600 milliamps, right? But it's giving the Pi, you can get 2 or 3 amps out of that in there, okay? So there's the power's fine for the Pi. It's just because it was really, well, we wouldn't have done it anyway. But there's a certain kind of power supply. I think it's called a PD power supply, which basically has some electronics in it, so the computer and the power supply can have a chat. Our power supply doesn't have that, and none of our circuitry has it, so it's not going to do that. But as far as running the Pi 5, Pi 4 is easy. Pi 5 was a lot more fussy on voltage, and we had to do some work to make sure it's nice, clean, smooth, 5 volts, right? We had to do a lot of work on that to improve it. So the actual power to the Pi is fine. You're talking about if you're putting in external USBs on it, right? That's nothing to do with our power supply. That's the fact it's not PD. It's not that electronic communication going on. And so the Pi will only give 600 milliamps. Now, you've got other connectors inside, so you can run more power from different, like if you want something else and run an extra 5 volts onto it, you can plug another connector in and put another 5 volt. So there's plenty of internal power. I updated firmware, it went smoothly, but HDMI. I updated the firmware, it went smoothly, but HDMI 2, 3, and 4 stopped working. Edwin, can you email me? Because I want to look into this. If you're saying that the new, email me about that. And if you're on, get on Discord and see if anyone else has noticed this. It shouldn't affect the HDMI because he didn't do any work on the HDMI 2. It might be something completely different, because we've had 3 or 4 HDMI boards that the ports are not all working. It's to do with the switcher. For some reason, they're not inputting. I test that they all appear, but I don't test all the ports when I ship. I just assume they work. 90 whatever, huge number, just work fine. But yeah, email me and we'll have a chat offline about that. I noticed the internal USB ports not give enough power. Is there a workaround for that external power? No. I've answered that. Any news on restarting sales of the cases yet? Yes. Probably next week. I'm gonna order another 100. Now the monitors are gone. I've got a bit of space. I'm gonna order another 100 monitors because I know Michael wants a load in Germany, and then but it'll take 10 to 12 weeks to make them, so I'll plenty of time. We'll probably sell the lot straight away, but a lot of people, these are pluses. I'm not planning on any minis, because they never sold very well, but the pluses, yeah. Raspberry Pi issue. As I said, it's not an issue. It's just that the Raspberry Pi 5 does want a PD power supply so it can communicate. I don't know the technical. All I know is the power supply and the Pi communicate backwards and forwards, and that then allows more current to go through the USB ports on the Pi. Ours isn't one of those, so it's limited to 600 milliamps. And that's tough, you know. That's the way it is. The actual Pi has got plenty of power to run. It's just the external ports of the Pi are limited. But as I said, if you're running something internally, you can power that device internally separately. There's lots of places you can power onto it. So, yeah. Right. What's the time? God, that's an hour. Okay. I'd say that's about it. So remember, so if you're in Europe and you want to buy the monitor, go to Dragon, search for Checkmate monitors, and you can buy one. And as I said, Michael's been an absolute godsend. And to be fair, this batch is this order that I shipped to him. Tipped us over into the black, which is good. Now it's all okay, you know, because I planned the whole thing very carefully. So all of this all the way along, we managed it as we went along. But yeah, so Michael's order was an absolute godsend, but I didn't want it too early for obvious reasons I explained. But now we are technically in the black, so I can breathe a sigh of relief. I got 200 monitors. Once the monitors are pretty much sold, we've already got prepared out there to make another container load. I'll be ordering a container load at a time, because we can't do 2,000 again, but I'll be ordering a container load, so it gives us some money so we can, you know, grow like that, and hopefully then the PR will start to roll out once we've got this wiggle thing sorted out. We'll get there'll be a lot more PR. You know, I'll probably start giving them to some big YouTubers. Now when I say big YouTubers, I mean quite big YouTubers. We often get the contact from people who've got like 500 subscribers can have a free monitor. No, that's just life. But yeah, so there'll be more PR, and then hopefully we can start, you know, and you know what I'm like. I like to invest in other products, and I've got other ideas, things I want to do. I want to do a round of support for AROS again, but you'll hear about that in Germany. Let's have a look at more questions. Oh, there's a whole load more. I've done that one. Yeah. The minis will probably go up in value because I probably won't make any more again. Can't read. Are the molds to be adjusted in future models? Yes. The edge color. No, it's not color bleed. It's a brightness. The backlight. It accelerates the backlight. It's like when you push it, it glows white. That is going to be addressed oh god, look at that. That's another half hour. As you know, we've there's fixes to it, but it's not ideal, obviously. We thought we'd fixed it because this is a second tool, $5,000 per tool. Well, the original one was $10,000 to be fair, but we're going to do another one. I don't know if it'd take another tool or modification of this one, but they're aware of it, they're doing it. So when I make the next batch, that will be addressed in that, so you won't have to do the, it only really appeared because the people assembling did them too tight and it pulled on the thing, and when you loosen them off, 9 times out of 10 you loosen them off, the screws off, and just pinch gently, and then usually that's it. But some of them are still a little bit, and so again, most people to put I know it's not ideal, put a really tiny little washer in the holes and then screw down into them, and it pushes it away about like half a millimeter, and that's actually half a mil, I think, and that's cured it. But as I said, it's not ideal, but this is production, this is manufacturing. You have to get that balance between the bezel being close to the screen but not pushing on it. Yeah, so you're talking like half a millimeter tolerance kind of thing in them. Anyway, so that's been sorted out for the next batch. Okay, that's interesting. Raduga's mentioned that he did his firmware update and it didn't affect the HDMI 2, 3 and 4. So the other guy, please contact Edwin Williams. Contact me by email, and we'll put you down for a replacement board, the MES board that sits on top. I've got to sort a few out, test a few. I have got some spares, but I need to test a few because I've got 2 or 3 that I've got to send out, and then we'll test them and we'll send you another one. So don't worry about it. It sounds like it's actually the board. I think we've had about 9 so far, which isn't too bad out of 2,000. So. Thanks, congratulations on Kickstarter campaign. One of each, black and white. My mother's been great. Yeah, no. So thanks for the nice comments. I have a 1 minute case. I assume if the next wave of mini ITX board take off, you might look again at the mini. If there's a demand, I'll make them. It's simple, isn't it? If I get people screaming at me they want minis, I'll make minis. It's not a problem. I've even got a thing registering interest. If people want them, I'll make them. But it's quite an expensive thing to make, and they're kind of limited what you can do with them. But, I always liked it. I always thought it would be really popular, but it turned out it wasn't. I've applied for the new firmware, but I want to still never use a front power. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Utuber 08089. I never use the front power button. It's really just for show. It literally is. My little boy, when he turns it off right from the front. He just turns it off because he doesn't understand. It's all obviously the slot 0 goes in standby, but everything else is still powered on and working. So I always turn off from the back, but it is just for show. Yeah, when it comes to doing the screws, just pinch them. Yeah, just pinch them. You don't do them tight. Oh, okay. A1222. Someone's actually used it because on the mini box it says A22, 1222. Did wait a while for them to actually come out. It's good to see you got one in there. You might find this interesting. Silverstone makers of the retro will ask if they would do an ITX version. They didn't think there was demand, but they might be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not that well known. My products aren't that well known, right? So that's probably. But I sold 300 or 400 of the minis, and I've sold about 1,000 of the pluses. And because people put 1200s, mostly people put 500s in the pluses or build a PC, Linux, Windows PC or something. But if there's a demand, I'll make them. If it's not, I won't. Because I can't make a bunch because 5 or 6 people want them. It's just not how it works. I can't afford space for one thing. Anyway, right. Look, I think I've answered most of the questions. Let's go back to Alfie's favourite game. He loves this game. He is so good at it, right? I think he's close to he might be complete. But he watches all the teaching you how to play it videos, the guides, and he can recite them as well. You know, he'll play it and then he'll talk like he's reviewing it. And he's 6. So yeah, but he's had. I mean, I've watched him play this. He's actually really. I mean, I'm not a gamer. I'm not. He gets fed up with me because he says, "Go on, Dad, let's play 2-player," and he comes and then I have a go and I'm dead. It does seem quite disappointed, but then all my kids have been disappointed watching me play game stuff. You know what can I do? Right. Will an ITX board fit in one of the slots? If so, then I'll put my Denise in there. No, ITX board will not go in one of the slots. It's twice the size. It's just not. The width might be alright, but the depth it come out the front by about 3 inches. Right. Okay, I'm going to go. Thanks for taking part. I will kill this stream when I figure out where it is. Here it is. Look. See, you press that button and then it says, right, I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks very much for taking part. I will do another one in a couple of weeks. Don't worry. You may find over time I kind of start being more general, but yeah, I will see you soon. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for joining in, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.